And then, so if you're planning to have 5 kids,
imagine who's going to take all those. Take that many kids? Oh,
right.
Man.
So, or you're going to have to be like, please, can you take 2?
Right.
Can you take 1?
You got to split them up and then see whoever gets the best experience.
Exactly.
My name is Ola.
And my name is Shane. We're on a journey to win in our relationships, finance, and lifestyle. And we're hoping to bring you all on that journey so you can do the same. So we're just going to jump right into our first point is, how do you know if you're ready for a kid? Were you ready for a kid?
I was ready. I was ready for a kid.
Okay. I can't really say that I felt ready. What would you say were the reasons why you felt like you were ready for a kid?
Well, I felt for one, I was getting older, right? And I kind of felt like a lot of the things I wanted to accomplish with career-wise and with basically academics, I'd already done all those. And, I just felt like I was prepared. And I married a wonderful wife. So, hey, what else am I looking for?
But what if you already graduated, you're working a good job, and you still feel like you're not ready? How would you know that you're actually ready? Like I said, I had graduated. I also was working as well, but I didn't really feel like I was ready. And the reasons why I didn't feel like I was ready was because having a child is just walking into the unknown, right?
That's true.
It's like you really don't know what to expect. Do you even know how much it costs to have a kid and things like that? So to know if you're ready to have a kid, are you financially stable? So make sure that you're at least financially stable. You can take care of yourself and then another person. If you're already struggling, bills might not be paid this month. God gave us children as blessings, not to bring them to this world to suffer. So if you are, not really financially stable yet, I don't think this is the right time to have children. But later in the video, we're going to talk about steps that you can actually take to prepare to have them.
And being financially ready, it does mean both you and your spouse working together to ensure that you are at that level. Right. And have an agreement that, you have all you need to be able to take care of kids.
Okay, you already have 1 kid. You're doing well with that kid. But like we talked about in our previous video, it's still a strain on everything. Financially, your relationship, your lifestyle, it's still a strain. So should you have another kid?
Well, again, it comes down to how prepared are you guys for another kid financially, right? And how can you manage your time, and do you have a support system for that? One of the things that people realize is if you have family members that can support you around, it definitely will be a good benefit. And if you don't, then the question is, what is the cost with childcare? Is that an additional cost? What is the cost with actually the time required to take care of them in the mornings and the evenings and so on? It's time consuming, right? It basically doubles the time.
So for us personally, how did we know we're ready for our second kid? Like we mentioned again in our last video, we were at the point of paying off our student loans. And so we knew we were getting rid of a financial burden, because that was the big thing for us, was we wanted to make sure that we're financially able to have this child. And so for us, it was getting rid of that student loan payment, that we knew that payment could go towards taking care of our new child that we would have. For some, it might be the child care, right? Maybe you have a parent that's closer to retirement that might be able to come and help with that kid. So maybe, holding off until you're at that point where you're going to have that support.
You can also look at if you're in a situation where you're a student and you have a couple more years to complete your program, and maybe that first kid that you have, you're able to manage through it, but having another might be a little bit more burdensome. So maybe waiting after your program is done, say 3-4 years, and then you can start planning to have another kid. So that's a practical way to look at it. In other situations, maybe you're starting a new business, or you're in search for a better job so you can have more time with your family. Then maybe you want to wait till you land that before you pursue having another kid.
Yeah, and you were mentioning to me about even, picking out the benefits when you're looking for that new job, right?
Yes. So part of the benefits that you should look for, whether it's the health insurance that gives you better coverage, you can also look at the parental leave, right? So you can have more time spent with this bundle of joy that you've added to your family. And also you got to look at it from what is the child care opportunity that they can offer you. And so all of this would be an advantage for you when you have that next kid.
So when you're searching for a new job, maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need a job that increase you to a certain financial level that pays you a certain amount. But at the same time, when looking for that, all the things it mentioned, make sure that it's wrapped up so that it'll just make it easier for you to have that next kid. We've already discussed, how to determine if you're ready, how to determine you're ready to have the second kid, and some of the things that you can do in order to actually prepare, which is, set yourself up financially, look out for childcare and things like that, support system, and those type of things that we just talked about. So the last point is, how many kids should you have?
You don't want Cheaper by the Dozen, right? If you haven't watched that movie, you probably want to go watch it. Right.
Some people might argue that they want that many kids, and there's really nothing wrong with having that many kids.
To each their own.
They are, they're blessings. Children are blessings. However, you want to make sure that you have the resources to take care of these kids.
Right.
So we're not going to tell you a number to have. For us, our number is 2, only because of where we are financially, the kind of goals that we have, the kind of lifestyle we want to give our kids. But for you, it might be 5. You might be at this financial place where you can't afford to give them all the amenities that they need.
One of my former bosses was telling me, hey, do you want to play Zone? And I was like, what do you mean by Zone? And he was basically referring to having a third kid. So if I'm watching one and she's watching one, we can have one just making noise. I'm like, why would I want to sign up for that? So our number is 2, but again, to each their own.
Right. And, for some people, it's 1 kid. For some people, it's 5 kids. But ultimately, do not let anybody pressure you to have kids. We always get, outside sources and forces that, they want to tell you, oh, you need 1 more kid. You need to balance this.
Yeah.
Your parents had this many kids. Have more. You're the one that's living your life. A lot of people that are saying these things, they're not the ones that are giving you the money to take care of these kids.
Right.
They're not the ones taking care of the kids for you. They also have their lives. They also have their own responsibilities. So even the best intentioned people cannot help you take care of the kid. The responsibility is on you.
Right. They may come in once in a while to help you and, spend time with you and the kids. But once their time is up, they'll leave and it's all you.
Right.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't make any decisions on having kids based on somebody else telling you to. But make sure that you look at your own financial situation, look at your own lifestyle. Are you a homebody? You're okay with just being at home taking care of the kid.
Right.
Then it's okay to have as much as you can physically handle. But if you're someone that likes to go out, we didn't mention this in our first video, but we actually once a year we drop our kids off with my parents. And we go for at least a weekend, 5 to 6 days without the kids, because we're the kind of people that we need that to refresh. And back to our intimacy point, it helps with that.
That's correct. We definitely need a retreat once in a while to continue to grow in our marriage. And that time is just valuable to have family to drop the kids off with.
Right. And then so if you're planning to have 5 kids,
imagine who's going to take all those. Take that many kids? Oh,
right. Man. So, or you're going to have to be like, please, can you take 2?
Right.
Can you take 1?
You got to split them up and then see whoever gets the best experience.
Exactly. And so, ultimately, to tell you that the amount of kids you decide to have is up to your situation. When you decide to have kids is up to you. I know for us, another thing is we wanted to have kids early so that they would be out of the house earlier and we could live our lives whatever way we want, once they're out. Some people choose to wait. They grow in their careers. They do whatever they need to do to be established so that they're taking care of the kids is smooth sailing.
Right. And for us, we don't want to be at an old age before they leave the house for us to now live our life freely, right? So it's just a factor that we've thought about, and we want to make sure that we have these kids with us earlier, and then once they get out to college, we're still young to be able to enjoy life.
Right, and it's personal preference.
Yeah.
But whatever you decide, just, you know, if you're a person of faith, make sure that God is guiding you in it. You're not just doing anything by your power, because I mean, especially with all the craziness going on right now with the Black Lives Matter movement, if you're a person of color, you know, you're bringing kids into this world and you just don't know what could happen to them at any point. So just committing those children to God and asking God to help you out with them, but knowing that it's not going to be an easy journey raising these children.
Right. And the more you have, the more prayers you got to pray on, right? Beyond just getting the tools and resources, right? You're spiritually dedicating them to God constantly, and you're constantly checking on them. You're constantly, you know, just figuring out how to manage their lives, right? So again, that's just one of the things you got to all the things you got to consider. So let's summarize for y'all all the key things you need to consider. So number one, we want you to really focus on getting your finances right before you have the next kid or your first kid. Getting your finances right, getting the right job, getting the educations you need to be established enough where you can actually take care of these wonderful kids. Secondly, consider all the childcare needs and support that you can get, whether it's through family, loved ones, siblings, whomever that is close to you to get that support. Thirdly, you want to make sure that you have the best benefits, whether it's parental leave, maternal or paternal leaves, you know, having the best health insurance to have better coverages, and also having the maybe childcare support or subsidies that are provided by your job. This will make all of this easier for you with getting prepared for having a kid.
Right. And lastly, obviously, the amount of kids you have is up to your situation, is individualized. Just know that you're responsible for those kids ultimately, and do not let outside pressures determine how many kids you actually have. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope that it's going to help you win in your relationship, your finances, and your lifestyle. Don't forget to like,
comment,
and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful videos like this. We'll catch you next time.
See y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.